Fogh Rasmussen, as Secretary-General of NATO, joins me live from Brussels. Thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to us. I should imagine it must be a bit of a relief to hand this over, the problems that Bagram has given you, the allegations of abuse. In what capacity do you walk away from this?
This handover of detainees to Afghan responsibility is part of our overall strategy to gradually hand over lead responsibility for the security to the Afghan authorities and Afghan security forces. So you should see it in that context.
Okay, now Washington insists that it'll maintain control over some detainees in prison. So what sort of handover is that then?
This is a handover based on a bilateral agreement between the Afghan government and the United States. And I think this agreement strikes the right balance between transition to Afghan responsibility and security. We also have to make sure that security concerns are taken into consideration. That's also in the Afghans' interest.
So is this a sign from you that you do think that things are indeed improving?
Yes, indeed. There are still challenges, but we have seen progress when it comes to the overall security situation. We are in the process of handing over lead responsibility to the Afghans, and today around 3/4 of the Afghan population live in areas where the Afghan security forces have taken lead responsibility. And we have also managed to concentrate the security threats to certain areas. The fact is that 80% of the enemy-initiated attacks take place in areas where only 20% of the population live, and that's a clear progress.
Does some of your confidence come from the fact that the Taliban are now saying that they are open to a ceasefire, to some sort of political agreement which will allow US military presence after 2014? Is that likely to happen?
I think such indications reflect the fact that the Taliban and other enemies of Afghanistan realize that they can't prevail on the battlefield. And it's my clear view that if certain conditions are fulfilled, we should give a political process a try. Of course, it has to be led by the Afghans themselves. Secondly, groups and people involved in the reconciliation process must abide by and respect the Afghan constitution, including human rights, and that includes, of course, also women's rights. And finally, they must cut ties with terrorist groups and denounce violence.
Okay,
if these conditions are fulfilled,
sure,
I think we should give it a try.
Okay, you say it should be led by Afghans themselves, but the Taliban is saying that they're prepared to talk to you, prepared for the ceasefire, as long as they don't have to deal with the Karzai government. Where does this leave the government then?
Yeah, but obviously the Afghan government is the legitimate authority in Afghanistan, and if any group wants to engage in a reconciliation process, they also have to engage with the legitimate government of Afghanistan.
Fogh Rasmussen, thank you very much for talking to us. NATO Secretary-General from Brussels.
You're welcome.